I think the calculator on my phone is broken because a pair of shoes surely cannot make the difference between a 2:55 and a 2:48 marathon, or a 20-minute 5k to a 19:18. Can they?
This video was originally about whether I think shoe companies cheat runners. Like, is there really anything in this super shoe revolution? Or is it just clever marketing and glitz and glamour and colours and snake oil? But that didn't feel right as an angle, so then I thought about the best runners in the world, like Eliud Kipchoge. What if we nicked his shoes and we gave him plimp soles? How fast would he be then? Would he still break a 2-hour marathon? But again, it just wasn't right. You see, this channel is all about you, and I just happen to have a stupid amount of shoes of varying value, a treadmill, an understanding wife, and an idea. Could I test all of my shoes to see if there is conclusive proof that some shoes are faster than others for the same effort, and what the differences may actually mean in running times to you? Could they genuinely make you a faster runner just by putting them on? Plus, I just like doing fun shit for the channel. And I started with the Nike Alphafly Next Percent against a very old pair of Pegasus 37s, which are worth about $50 now. Also, I have the Saucony Endorphin Speeds, which are one step down from the top of the line Pros, but still a good plated option, and I pitted them against a pair of Triumphs. Then I'll be looking at the Hoka Carbon X2s, which are kind of builder's speed for long distance, and I put them against a very comfortable pair of Hoka Cliftons. And finally, I wanted to see how my Asics Gel Nimbus, which are my overall favourite shoe, held up against the Metaspeed Edge. I raced my only 2 road marathons so far in Gel Nimbus, so I'm keen to see if I can find evidence that I'd have been faster for the same effort in super shoes.
I gotta be honest, I'm nervous about this testing for a number of reasons, but the main one, I guess, is that I want there to be some kind of tangible difference one way or the other. I want there to be a justification for us all spending that money to get those shoes that are supposed to make us faster. And while I can't guarantee that there's absolutely gonna be a difference, I am hopeful because I know what it feels like to run in these shoes and how different they feel. That might be psychosomatic, but I have given myself the best chance of finding a difference with the testing methods I'm using, which I'll talk about in a minute, but I'm going back this way. And I suppose from a purely selfish perspective, I'm really keen to find out if there is a difference between the shoes that I've run my last 2 road marathons in, which admittedly was 2 years ago when I didn't have super shoes, but is there that difference between those and the super shoes? What might I have run had I been wearing super shoes? Now I know what I think is going to happen, but I was also interested, did we all think the same way? So I reached out to a few YouTuber friends just to get their take on it. What do they reckon that's going to happen?
I reckon Ben's going to see a considerable difference in the super shoe. A longer rep, say 5 kilometers, I think there's going to be a big benefit to wearing a super shoe in terms of running efficiency and overall economy.
Okay, big boy, I think you're going to see the biggest difference in the Alpha versus the Alphafly versus the Peg, and I think you'll see a significant difference in the Metaspeed versus Nimbus. The others, I'm not so sure you'll see a hell of a lot of difference. The Hokas and the Speed, not so sure there's going to be much difference there, but the other two I think will be relatively significant.
So I think what you're going to find is your perceived effort is a lot less in the super shoes. Ultimately, some daily trainers are great, they're light, they're snappy, they're poppy, but these super shoes are built for efficiency. So I think when you dive deep into the data after your testing, you're just going to find they're so much more efficient.
Oh, by the way, if for some reason I don't see what I think I want to see, I've got a backup. I've got a little trick up my sleeve which I'll introduce you to later. But the first thing I need to do is I need to explain how I'm going to do this. As in, what's my scientific method?
So I'm doing the only thing I know how to do, throwing it over to someone else that knows more than me in Mikey, who you obviously know from the many races we've done on the channel. Hi, Mikey.
Hey, Ben.
Mikey's the official, one of the 2 official scientists of the channel, John being the other one. So, Mikey, can I throw over my methodology to you so you can tell me if it's going to stand up to scrutiny?
Take me through it, Ben.
Okay, roughly stand up to scrutiny. Okay, here's my methodology. I'm going to put the air conditioning on to 19 degrees every time. I'm going to try and run at the same time of day, I didn't write that. And I'm going to put the treadmill at 4:13 minutes per kilometre. Then run for 5 minutes, rest for 5 minutes while I change trainers. 30 seconds lead in before the watch starts on every effort so that my heart rate gets going. And I'm going to do it over 2 days, and the second day I'm going to reverse the order from the first day. What do you think?
Right, yeah, I like it. You've got a good consideration of the control variables. Yeah, I think you've got a nice method ready to go.
Thanks, Nike. Thank Nike. We're testing on them. Thanks, Mikey. That's gonna hopefully stand up to scrutiny. The order that I'm gonna go today, I'm gonna go Alpha Fly, Pegasus, Endorphin Speed, and then Triumph. So I'm gonna do that the first time. The second time I'm gonna go Triumph, Endorphin Speed, Pegasus, Alpha Fly. And also I'm always gonna test in the Triumphs and the Alpha Flies to make sure that I account for differences in days, even when I'm testing other pairs of trainers as well. All right, look at this, Ben in a box, here to talk you through my training shoe by shoe, day by day. And I first started with the Alpha Fly, which was amazing, and I felt brilliant while I was running, but what it did mean was that every other shoe after that felt like a clog.
Pegasus time.
Now I went onto the Pegasus, pretty decent shoe, not the Alpha Fly. Onto the Saucony Endorphin Speeds, and they felt good again, felt better than the Pegasus for sure. And then when I moved on to the Triumphs, that kind of felt like the worst shoe of the day.
Triumphs!
But would my heart rate data reflect that? Because then I reversed the order with the Triumphs first up, and to be honest, because they were first up, didn't feel too bad, felt quite fresh. But again, when you move into the Endorphin Speeds, you notice the difference almost immediately. And then when I went on to the Pegasuses, how do you Pegasi? Don't know how. Alright shoe, but of course, again, the Alpha Fly, my levels in terms of perceived effort dropped right down, and it just felt cruising. So easy, so much nicer to run in. And it's back for round two. I've already tested the Nikes, I've already tested the Sauconys. Today I'm going to test the Hokas and the Asics. On with the testing. So today I'm going to warm up in the Alpha Flies, and then I'm going to cool down in the Sauconys, or say cool down, do my last one in the Sauconys, and then the next test I'm going to do the reverse. And the order of the actual trainers that I'm going to run in is I'm going to go Hoka Carbon X2s, Hoka Cliftons, Asics Metaspeed Edge, Asics Gel Nimbus. Day 3 and I'm switching shoes, which was exciting, but I did bring the Alpha Flies and the Triumphs over with me so that I can compare between days and shoes. And as you can see, I started with the Alpha Fly, and then I went on to the Hoka Carbon X2s, which are so distinctly average to me in terms of feel. Just feels like hard shoes. That the actual Cliftons felt as good, if not better, and I think my heart rate might have been showing that. Then on to the Gel Nimbus, which are the shoes that I raced my previous 2 road marathons on, so keen to see how these compare to the Metaspeeds, which was next, and of course the Triumphs, very average trainer. Final testing day, so reversing the order from the order with the Asics and the Hokas, and I'm also testing the Alpha Flies and the Saucony Triumphs first. I'm interested to find out what's going to happen with my heart rate today, because I've had a busy day, and I'm very interested to see what happens to the Alpha Flies when I test them last, 6th, so I better get on. Then of course it's reversey-pursey time. Start with the Triumph, very average trainer, not bad but very average. Move into the Metaspeed Edge. Now these do feel really good on my feet. I actually love the feel of running in these. And then I went into the Gel Nimbus, again like I said, keen to see how they stack up against the super shoes, because then I went into the Hokas, which was essentially the Cliftons, into the Carbon X2s, and they just don't feel as good. I like the brand, but just being honest. I'm finished with the Alpha Fly. Now this would be interesting. Would my heart rate still be lower when the Alpha Fly was the 6th shoe?
That's it, testing, all testing over. That was the last one. You can see I'm in my Alpha Fly, so that's the last effort of the 6th today of the 4 days. I'm super interested to see where this goes, because I've been looking at my heart rate while I'm running, and if what I think bears out, it's gonna be significant for our running and our times.
Alright, it's results time, and I'm going to try and be as concise as I can, and also just share the information I think that's valuable to you. So whilst things like cadence and stride length, ground contact time, vertical oscillation were all much of a muchness and things that I really don't think you need to know too much about, what I found was significant was my heart rate
in super shoes, and in particular the Alpha Fly. I'll be sharing some statistics up here, and also linked to that is of course the calories burned during each 5-minute effort. And if you can see this, then you can see that my heart rate in the Alpha Flies was fairly consistently less than in any other shoe, but especially in the non-carbon plated super shoes. Quite simply put, it means I'm using less energy for the same speed, and it means I'm burning less calories for the same speed. Which means, again, in theory, I can speed up for the same energy I would be giving in the non-carbon plated option and go faster. But how much faster? But if you're still not on board with the results, if you're still like, not sciencey enough for me, Ben, fair enough. How about Dustin at Lab Rat Rundown? You really must follow him on Instagram. He takes this type of testing to the absolute next level using VO2, so much more scientific than me. So you know what? I asked him for a chat to see if he found the same things that I did. Dustin, first of all, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. I'm really excited to talk to you because I would like to know, I'm keen to know, the results that you see when you do this testing with super shoes and normal shoes, do you see similar things to what I've just seen?
Yeah, so it sounds like you responded well to the Alpha Fly, which, we've done some larger studies with multiple subjects, and I've shared a lot of my own case study data on Instagram. But in our larger study that we tested multiple runners and we had several of the super shoes in the lineup, definitely the Alpha Fly was up there on the top tier of shoes. In our lab, we're measuring oxygen consumption as a means to indirectly quantify energy expenditure. So making it easier to run at a given speed or allowing you to run faster at the same physiological intensity would be one of the big benefits.
I was trying to work out what that might mean in terms of if I ran at that certain pace, like you say, or that certain energy.
So you're asking like how much faster you're gonna go?
Yeah, essentially, yeah, you just worded it way better than I did straight away.
So the question is like, how do you translate a given percent improvement in running economy that we measure in the lab to a percent performance time improvement? And so it's not a perfect 1-to-1 ratio. Particularly at faster speeds. It's not like if you're 4% more economical, it doesn't necessarily translate directly to 4% faster times. Now it's still substantial though. So kind of like rough rule of thumb estimate for people running at faster speeds, you probably get about 2/3 of that. So if you were getting a 3% economy benefit, you would get a 2% performance time improvement. So still definitely substantial. You take 2.5%, 3% performance improvement over the marathon for a 3-hour marathoner, you got a free 5 minutes there. We think a lot about like the marathon time improvement, and it's like, okay, 5 minutes huge for free time in a marathon, but the marathon's like so long and so much stuff can go wrong that like 5 minutes could be damned in no time, right? So it's like I think sometimes even applying those same numbers to something like a 5K or a 10K, that's like a free 30 seconds to 45 seconds for some of the improvements I'm getting in a 5K. And that's like, okay, there's less nonsense that goes wrong in a 5K. That's like a real 30 seconds of just how much training we have to do to get that up, right?
So after 2 weeks of testing and a lot of chatting to others, I've made some realizations, or more accurately, I've confirmed what I believed all along. Super shoes, and in particular the Alpha Flies, make me and the majority of us faster runners. We all respond in different amounts, and that could equate to different time savings, and for me, even 3% could be the difference between a 2:55 marathon PB, which was in A6 Gel Nimbus, and a 2:49, just because of the shoes. But here's the caveat. There are so many other things we can do to be faster runners. These shoes, they're a luxury. What about interval training, or learning to train properly with heart rate, periodizing your training, following a plan, training consistently or being coached, speed work, drills, run analysis, and that is the tip of the iceberg. If you can afford the shoes and you want them, then get them. But you don't need them. What you need is the joy. Whatever makes you happy, do that. If that means getting out there in nature, then you just do that. And if it means putting on some space-age bouncy castle-like super shoes and letting everybody hear you coming, then you do that too. It's your life and you have to find the joy in it.
And if you like this video, first of all, consider subscribing, but no hard sell from us. But you might like this video, which is the 9 hard truths of being a runner, and I think some might surprise you. Or the video below, which is where I actually compared the Alpha Flies to the Vapor Flies in track testing to see if there was any significance between those two pairs of trainers, which are the two most popular Nike trainers. Either way, hope this has brought a smile to your face, and I'll see you next Sunday. Thanks for sticking around.